board. It's me. I am back and I have an entry into my new series named Powering Up Park Time. And today we're looking at the jump rope. And I'm not going to tell you the regular way of like, oh, you jump like this. And then we all know that is solid playtime with your jump ropes. I came up with 6 new ideas that I think are also super fun to do with your jump rope, and it makes it way more versatile. And you can keep these in your trunk, and I've got a way to make sure you keep that organized as well. So, and also stay tuned to the very end, the last game my daughter and I came up with. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to start with 2 tips that I find are really important. Okay, the first tip I have learned as a mom is that the jump rope is not one size fits all. It's really not. They come in like a pretty universal same size, but they're not thinking about the short stature people, and especially, like a 5, 6, 7-year-old. So instead of trying to find some specialty jump rope, all I did was I bought a jump rope, and most of them have this hole on the top here where the rope would come out, so you just pull it on out. You can do any kind of tape you want. If you want it to be like semi-permanent, use packing tape or whatever. I like these. The beads are soft and squishy, so it's kind of nice. You got them lined up there. You can go by beads. This year they need 3 beads. Next year it's just 2 beads. And you can grow into the full-size jump rope. You can also use, this is my preferred method, this is painter's tape. I love painter's tape. It's awesome. I love it because it is sticky and strong. What I did here was I wrapped this up for my 6-year-old daughter. She is loving jump rope, but not quite big enough. You've got that taped on here. Easy to come off if you've got an older sibling like she does and they want to use a jump rope like a jump rope. Okay, the next tip I have actually also involves my painter's tape. And this is a way to keep things clean and organized in the trunk of your car. You don't have to worry about this tangling up and becoming a big ball because you're going to store it like this. I've got a piece of cardboard here. My dad taught me this. With anything you need to wrap up and keep organized, you definitely have to have tape on the handles, and then you just wrap it around, and you can absolutely get 2 jump ropes on here. I have done it, and you just keep wrapping around, and then you would tape it right here, and then you've got it stuck here. It's not going to get disorganized. It's not going to get tangled. And when you're ready, it comes off so much easier. Oh, unravel it, and you're good to go. Straight line. There's no tangles whatsoever. So those are my 2 tips to get started. And now let's get into the games. The games. I have 6 of them. Okay, this first game is called Snake Slither. And you're going to, of course, pretend that this jump rope is a snake. And so what you're going to do to turn it into a snake, you're just going to hold it out in front of you. And you kind of want to throw one end away from you and then straighten it out. And the end farthest from you, this end, is going to be the snake's tail. And then you are using this other end here, this handle, to have it be the snake's head. And you're doing that because you are the brains of the operation. You're moving the snake. Okay. Whoa. Sorry, guys. Stretch it out in front of you and all the long ways, and then you've got a hold of the head, and you're going to move it in this kind of manner, like a wiggly manner, like a snake would wiggle across the ground. And your child's job is to jump over this wiggly snake. Sometimes they can do a running jump, or they could do it so it has to be really quiet so they don't bother the snake. Whatever you want to do. It's just wiggling this and they can jump over it. It's also fun if you take a turn and you're jumping over the snake, be really silly and ridiculous while you're doing it. And also if you're the snake, you've got to make the snake sound. You just have to do it. It's way more fun that way. It gets you in the spirit, reminds you what this is. Also, if you want to, you can just count how many times you've jumped over. That's a way to go. Just jumping over and counting. Maybe you do 10 times. Maybe the next time you do 15. So that's one game, Snake Slither, and we're moving on. The next game we have is called Simon Says Circle. And it's very similar to regular Simon Says, absolutely. You're going to use the jump rope as a circle and kind of also as a prop to how you're going to move around the space. So you start the game by saying, Circle Simon Says, stomp into the circle. So everybody ends up starting in the circle, and then you could do a next one that would be Circle Simon Says, put one foot out and shake it all about. So you would have one leg out of the circle and you'd shake it around. You could do Circle Simon Says, gallop around the circle. You can pretend you're a cowboy or a cowgirl galloping around, inside or outside. It's up to you. You could also, I have way more examples coming up, but what I want to talk about first here is that you're trying to catch them just like regular Simon Says. You're trying to catch them by not saying circle Simon Says, but just saying like swim through the circle, and they swim through and they're like, oh, and you're like, oh, and it's fun. And then you start over and you keep playing. So now some ideas you can use here. You could say circle Simon Says spin inside, and if they go outside the line, then it's and they're done and out of the game, or they lose that round. You could also act like a monkey, and this circle is your tree, and you could pretend to climb up it, grab a banana off it, that kind of thing. You could say dance into the circle, and you could say dance around the circle. You could say slow motion walk into the circle. You can walk like a robot out of the circle. You could say do the yoga tree pose. I love yoga poses. And you can do the tree pose inside the circle, and they could blow around inside the circle with their leaves going everywhere. You could pretend you're an astronaut floating in space, and you're floating around the circle, which the circle is your rocket ship, so you can pretend to work on it or just float in silly ways. Next up, we have a simpler, shorter, easy to do game real quick if you only have 5 minutes. You can pretend it's the balance beam, and you would put it out, straight out, a handle on either end, and you can start on walking on one end and just do it back. And these jump ropes are really great. I can try to link them in the comments because this is rubber, so you can absolutely walk on these and you're not really going to do any kind of damage. So that's cool. So you could also try it backwards. You could try it like a bird is crossing on a wire, like it kind of like hop, 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 hop on a telephone wire. You could do a really slow walk, a really fast walk. You could do a eyes closed walk. It can be really fun and silly. And that's just some ideas for the balance beam. Also, this could be a starting line or a finishing line to a race or a game of some kind. This could also be a base, a home base, if you are playing tag, but you would use the whole circle so everybody could get in if they needed to have the safe space, the safe spot. So that's another way to use these. And now we're going to our last game, which is the one my daughter helped me with. It's awesome. Please stay with us. Okay, it's the game my daughter and I made up. It's called Choo Choo Fun. First, you're going to lay down the jump rope, again, all the way out. I'm just making it smaller for these purposes. And you're going to have one handle here and one handle here. And you're going to make a U shape just like this. And this is your train. And you're going to have a conductor and passengers. So the conductor would hold on to these two handles, and they would be at the front leading this train right here into whatever kind of adventure you want to go on with your train, up a hill, down a hill. So again, the conductor stands up here holding the handles. When he says all aboard, then that means stand up and get moving. And so you're going to follow the choo-choo train. And I like it when you work all together. So my daughter and I did it. She would hold on to the handles, and then I was in the back going like chugga, chugga, chugga. And we were doing it together, moving the rope kind of like in a circle motion. And we did that together. So it was fun to try to make sure we were doing that at the same time. And then you could just go on your adventure, and you can reverse it when you're ready, reverse, and then you switch turns too, which is really nice. Everybody gets a turn. And remember, you can make it really fun too. You can add extras, add the pizzazz. You could say, like, if you're the conductor, I need tickets please, and you're just pretending. Use a leaf that you find outside. And then you go to your seat. Maybe the conductor says, that's seat 1100. And then you would have to pretend one of those spots in there is your seat. So I drew a little picture because I feel like sometimes it's better to have a visual cue, and I'm not a drawing artist. That's not where my talents lie. So I'm sorry, but I think this gets the point across. So here is the U jump rope. Here's the conductor holding both of the handles, like I said. Here is the passenger 1, 2, and 3, and the conductor gets up and he goes on a certain path, and then when you hit the end of the train tracks, you go back, and then you switch turns, and each person in this passenger section gets to be the conductor at least once. And you can go fast, slow, you can make quiet choo-choos, loud choo-choos. You can do really whatever you want. You can pretend you're going through a tunnel. There are so many fun ways when you're pretending to be a choo-choo. And then the kids love it because you're kind of holding them inside the jump rope because that's the train, and it's just silly. You can take fast turns, do whatever you think the kids would giggle about. And they're going to have a really great time doing this. I believe so. It came from a mind of a child. So I hope that one of these jump rope games, or maybe even all of them, sound interesting to you and you try them out with a kiddo in your life. I think they're silly and they're fun and relatively easy to put together. You just need your imagination and a jump rope. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really, really, really appreciate it. I always have room in my herd for one more, so if you'd like to, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Ooh, I know. I'm going to ask you to give a thumbs up to this video so my daughter knows her choo-choo train game was a success. So give a thumbs up and then I'll show her all the thumbs up if we get them, fingers crossed. So we're looking for new ways to connect, games or through toys or you name it. That's what we're going to do here. That's what I'm going to try to provide to you. All right, so we are all done. Thank you for joining me today so much. That'll do, friends. That'll do.